Welcome to All Things Retreat Podcast. I'm Holly Porter, your host and CEO of Retreat R&R. With over 25 years of experience in designing transformative retreats, I'm here to share insights and inspiration to help you create extraordinary experiences. Whether you're a pro or just starting out, you'll find valuable ideas here. Enjoy the ride. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show today. We're going to be interviewing LuAnn Buechler. I hope I said that right. She can correct me in a second. If not, she's affectionately known as the Little Spark. It's a powerhouse business coach, master trainer, retreat facilitator, and transformational speaker with over 40 years of experience igniting change and success. As the founder of PMC Events and Coaching, LuAnn has empowered countless individuals and businesses to find joy through passion, people, and process. Certified in Passion Test and Passion Test for Business, LuAnn takes her clients beyond alignment, helping them monetize their passions. Her signature program, Make Your Passion Pay, is a proven 6-step playbook designed to transform passions into profits, empowering heart-centered entrepreneurs to turn their dreams into sustainable, thriving businesses. LuAnn is a member of elite organizations like Transformational Leadership Council, collaborating with top leaders to create a global impact, and has shared the stage with luminaries such as Jack Canfield, Ivan Meisner, and Janet Bray Atwood. She is also a longtime leader in Business Network International, referred to as BNI, where she's trained thousands to leverage networking for business growth. An accomplished author and founder of the I Hug movement, LuAnn embodies her motto, do what you love in service to people who love what you do. As a premier success coach with eWomen Network, she brings unmatched passion and expertise to help you unlock your potential and create a business that thrives on what you love most. Okay, welcome to the show.
Wow, thanks, Holly. Appreciate that. I think I need to shorten that a little bit.
Well, it's okay. I mean, we can always talk about more of it, but that's all right. Now they know, and here we go. So there you are.
Yeah.
We're happy to have you here today, and we're going to have a little discussion about retreats. You are a retreat leader on top of all of the other things that we mentioned. So let's talk about, first of all, how you got started doing retreats.
So, first of all, my background before I got into the coaching arena and facilitating retreats was in the hospitality industry. So I have a lot of experience in hotel and restaurants and so forth. And it's just part of my nature. But after I started my business for a few years, I felt like I was in this all by myself. Anybody else? Right? Ever feel like you're all alone, all by yourself? And so I gathered a group of my friends and I said, let's do a women's retreat. We're all struggling with similar things, and let's let our hair down, leave the makeup at home, and just gather and share each of our expertise with each other, right? We each have a skill set to share, and that's how it began. And I'll never forget that after the first retreat, the women showed up because they were my friends. And then afterwards they said, oh, we get it. We get now what your vision was, LuAnn. That was so great. And so that's where it began. 15 years ago, I started those retreats and had them every year. And people would come back every year because I think you said it before, it's become a necessity, not just a luxury, to attend retreats. We need that opportunity to go within that self-care, and all of that's wrapped up in what I do.
Absolutely. And they're more popular now than ever. But I think it's also when you say people come and repeat and come again and again, that's a compliment, number one, to you, I want to say. Number two, it means that you're up leveling every time you have a retreat, and they know that you're bringing new content and new fun to the party. So they're wanting to come and see what's new for you. And I think that's a really important and a compliment again.
Yeah, speaking of which, I think the other thing that happened as I look back now is that the people that participated were up leveling as well. And they may have come as a participant to begin with, and then they came as a contributor, as a speaker, or sharing a process or a modality. So, it's pretty
I
powerful
love that
stuff.
idea that you just said they come back as a facilitator or speaker, because a lot of retreat leaders, they're in that mindset they have to do everything alone, or oh, if I have to pay someone then I won't make any money or I'll lose money. There's a formula. There's just ways, and there's so much help out there for retreat leaders, and that's what we're wanting this podcast to help retreat leaders do, is figure out all the things not on your own. Look
Yeah.
and watch what other people do and model what is success, model what is working already. Don't go reinvent the wheel, right?
Right. So that's a really important piece of that first retreat that I'd like to share, Holly. And that is that I said I am unable to underwrite this myself and financially put it on myself. So everybody's got to have skin in the game.
Yes.
Right. And so they were sponsors or speakers and they paid a different level depending on what they came in as,
Yeah.
and invested in the retreat. So it was not something I funded alone for sure.
Right.
And that too, another one of my what do I want to say, guidelines, policies is you come and you stay. You don't come in and speak and go home. You stay for the whole
Yeah.
retreat because the
Which should be a
truth of the matter
requirement.
is, yeah, requirement. Thank you. That's the word. So the truth of the matter is that the relationships that are built in the time we spend together, not in presentation or activities, but in hanging out with each other, is what builds for the future those strong ongoing friendships and relationships and potentially, clients and business partners, that kind of thing. So it's
Right.
built in those conversations. And I've got proof because one year one woman was like, oh, I family things came up. She's like, I really want to be there, but I can't be there the whole time. And we still let her come and do her piece. And she said after it was over, she's like, yeah, I'll never do that again because it
Hmm.
didn't benefit me the way it should have if
Yeah.
I was fully present for the entire retreat.
And speakers, good speakers know that. Even talking about events, not just retreats. When you go to an event and you're a speaker, you need to be in the room. Don't be trying to grab people and take them away from the retreat so they can come out and you can do business with them in the hallway. I don't feel like that's
Yes.
respectful to the retreat leader or event producer either, because
Agreed.
that's not, there's time for that. And I think when you just come and want to suck the energy out, it just isn't a good alignment. And so good
Yeah.
speakers know how to do that correctly. And yeah, they're busy, and 3 day events, it's challenging, but at least if you're going to like a 3 day event, a 3 day retreat, commit to one full day. And if you're going to do that,
Yeah.
just be there and be present while you're there,
Yeah.
and things will change dramatically. I agree.
Yeah.
What's a
So,
tip that you could give our listeners that are, maybe we have some that are already doing retreats that listen to the podcast, and then we have newbies,
right.
wannabes, whatever you want to call them. Like, what would be a great tip for someone that is in that space, that they want to host a retreat, they've been thinking about it, they just haven't pulled the trigger?
Right. So, again, never feel like you have to do it alone.
Mhm.
Put together a collaboration of people that can do it together. And many of those people in the beginning had no speaking experience really. They came and shared their gifts from their hearts, whether massage therapist, herbalist, what have you. I just brought all these people to surround women and uplift and support them. So that's one. And be creative. Be creative. My first spaces, I used some summer camps for kids that aren't busy in the winter, and our retreats always been in the fall, and so we used those facilities, were more cost effective.
Yeah.
I've used nonprofit facilities that go on donation only, and so
Mm.
there's an opportunity for really cost savings and budgeting. Always do budget and know what your budget is, right? So there's hard costs involved, which are things that are never going to change no matter how many participants. Then there's variable costs based on per participant what I need to provide for a meal, for example, and so forth. That was another creative step I took. A woman wanted to come to the retreat and was unable to financially invest. And she said, can I come and cook for you? I said, yes, you can come and be our chef. And so she did the grocery shopping and all the food preparation and cooking so she could be there for the weekend with us.
Yeah, that's a nice trade. Except she's probably cooking a lot of the times when I mean, because when you do hire a chef, that's almost a full-time job at the retreat, but then she's still in the energy of it and the space of it. So that's
It
beautiful.
depends on the layout too, right? How close or
Yeah.
how far away they are. I mean,
Yeah.
we've done um, remodeled farmhouses that are designed typically for wedding parties, and
Right.
we've used those. Now the kitchen is right there.
Yeah.
Right, we're all in
Right.
this together, so you're not separate from us even if you're
Yeah.
in the kitchen prepping. So
Yeah, that is awesome. That's so true. Well, let's jump to talking a little bit about transformative retreats. I don't know what kind exactly yours are, but what do you think makes it truly transformative?
I think people give it gives them time to separate from the rest of their world. And so they really can drop into who they are and what's going on for them. And then they
Yeah.
get the support of all the women. It's not me, it's the process of all those women being together. I say, whenever a circle of women come together, the world heals just a little bit more. And I
Yeah.
firmly believe that's true, that we create this energy vortex that is healing and supportive of the people
Yeah.
in that room and the people in their circle, like it what it expands out.
Yeah, yeah, I do agree. I feel like, I mean, this is mostly just my opinion, but I know a lot of people share this opinion that for a transformational retreat, you really need a longer retreat, 5 to 7 days. And when you're talking about like going overseas, there's some magic behind the transformation in being out of the country and feeling that release of just being free somewhere else, even if it's not a free country like we are here in the United States, but that feeling. And I feel like sometimes you need a few days to get the prep work done for the actual transformation. And I mean, maybe 4 days, there could be a lot done. I don't know, for me, it's like when you do a 2.5 or 3 day up to four. I don't know. For me, I just don't feel like that full transformation is there and you acclimate into where you need to start, middle, be in the end as much. I don't know. Maybe a lot of people would
So
disagree with that,
so
but
one
what
of
are your
the
thoughts?
one of the retreats that we do, we call it a transformational trek. And
Okay.
my sister and I take women into the Boundary Waters canoe area of northern Minnesota. Now that's true disconnection. You've got no
Mm,
technology access, your phones don't work, and we're hiking and paddling and carrying everything in that we need and carrying it back out, okay? So
oh,
in those situations, I have seen where it takes a little bit of time for the women to build trust with one another. And so
yeah.
that's interesting you should say that. Typically, in the other retreat I talked about that I did for 15 years, we started with the tool, the passion test, which is a tool that I facilitate people in coaching and helping them to identify their passions. It really gets them into it pretty deep, pretty fast,
Yeah.
right? And when you're
Right.
doing that in a
Good
small,
skill.
like I'm not talking big retreats either, okay?
Sure.
Into the wilderness, we only take 6 people,
Yeah.
and my 2.5 day weekend retreat is 25, 30 people, right? So we
Right.
really build a bond on the conversation of their passions. And so there is definitely transformation that takes place. And yet again, Holly, that's why they come back every year, because they go, oops, I need more. I need more. I
Mhm.
need a little bit more. But, we're
Right.
peeling back the onion along the way and uncovering the next level for each person. So
Absolutely.
I think it can sometimes happen in one presentation from somebody. I've had
Yeah, that's true.
transformations in my own life, but I'm just getting to the point, so I'll keep listening to the podcast, to doing those more elaborate events overseas on cruises, things like
Yeah.
that. I'm speaking on a cruise this fall and gonna watch how that a woman facilitates her retreat.
Yeah, I've done a cruise for a retreat. It's a different experience, and that's really just what matters is what kind of experience are you looking for? And I think especially for retreat leaders, I believe it's really important for retreat leaders to also do retreats, not just to see how others are doing it in that space, but so that you get that growth and you get that transformation. I'll use an example. I am a hairdresser 40 years, in between all my other businesses I've had, but I had a salon and spa for 20 years. And that transformation, when we talk about that, I could give somebody in 2 hour appointment with their hair, they
Sure.
can come out looking like a totally different person in 2 hours. And then again, it reflects in how they feel inside, just a different style, with a haircut. I mean, I'm just talking that as an example. When we talk about fast transformation, when I'm talking about going really, really deep, that's where I
Right.
was saying more. I feel like you need minimum of 4 days, but
Yeah.
seven. If you're having people fly across the world to a retreat, it
Oh
needs to be a
yeah.
7 day retreat. I
Oh,
mean,
for
five
sure.
minimum, right? Because you
For
just need
sure.
to get them in that space
Yeah.
and acclimate them.
For
So
sure.
that transformation can
Absolutely.
happen. Yeah, go watch a YouTube
But
speech and your life can change. Remember the
right.
saying, when you're ready to learn, the teacher will show up. You can
Yep.
hear the same thing over and over again. And when the right person at the right time says it, something just goes on inside and you're like
Yeah.
you've never heard it before. Your mom can tell you to do
It-
something, but if someone else tells you something that's the exact same thing,
right.
you kind of listen a little
Yeah.
more.
I
Um,
used to think that was a problem as a mother, and then I went, no, that's just the way the world works, right? When the
yeah,
student is ready, the teacher appears. So I love
yeah,
that. And I want to also though, go back to the newbies out there because I started with just a little local retreat in my friend circle, in my
yeah.
community, just outside my community were the facilities. So we got maybe an hour away from our homes
Mhm.
in order to separate from the rest, but
Right.
start there and build your confidence in that kind of environment before you go big and go
Yes.
off to Sedona or
Don't go
elsewhere in the world.
international first.
Yeah, don't do
Right.
that.
I call those, I say start even smaller than that and start with a day treat. It's
There
just
you
one day.
go.
You don't do any overnighters. You just make it a day, and then always be willing to get them into the next step, to work with you or to go to the next
Right.
retreat. Hey, if you like this was just a taste of what we're going to experience in this, 3 night, 4 day,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. Right. It's just
Absolutely.
dangle the carrot and then give them the best experience ever. Even if the J tree isn't about making money as much as it is giving them the experience to show them what you can do. And I always
Right.
tell people, give them 80% of what you know. They don't realize that's maybe only 80% of what you know, and maybe you only know another 20%. Information is a plethora out there. You can go to YouTube University and learn anything you want, chat GPT, learn anything you want. But just give and serve, and people will just keep coming back, because as you up level, you're going to help up level them, like we said.
That is the key though to retreats. You're right. You can go on YouTube, you can go on ChatGPT, and guess what? You still feel like you're doing it all by yourself, right? And so when I went to my girlfriends, that's what I told them. I said, "Look, I need your support. I need your help. I need other women around me to remember I'm not out here by myself." And
Yeah,
that's truly, I had all kinds of transformational ideas from that first retreat of what they would walk out with. And when I asked them why they came back the next year, it was friendship,
mm.
camaraderie, support from other amazing women,
Community.
community. It was the simple things. It wasn't the major transformation. It's like, I just need that support. And that's why we have in person retreats. And
Yeah.
that's why they're so important to us.
So I'm curious, what your thoughts are on this. When we talk about women feeling safe at a retreat, but you're doing a 3 day retreat, for instance, okay, and you want to see, some growth, you want to see some progress. It's not just a fun, relaxing, get massages type retreat. You're
Mhm.
teaching as well, and maybe you are
Yes.
upselling them into a bigger retreat. Maybe an international retreat comes after
Right.
that, and you want them to come along with you.
For
My
sure.
feeling is, if you're doing that type of a model, to do pre-work before. So get to know your people coming, especially if you're talking 6 people, 6 to 10 people that you can handle by yourself without getting some help, and have some Zooms with them beforehand, get to know them, dig into deeper. Hopefully they're showing up in person, have the recordings available, but you want them there. So when they get there, they already feel like, oh yeah, you were the one that lives here. Or you were the one, I have a cousin
Right.
that lives there, and there's already some connection before
Connection.
you get there. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so we, especially on the trips into the wilderness, we have a lot of instruction and preparation. So we
Uh-huh.
would do a couple of Zoom calls before we went. And that way the women got to introduce themselves, get to
Yeah.
know a little bit about their background, and get tips on packing and what to bring with them and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So absolutely, when you're dealing with an intimate group like that, I highly recommend that.
Yeah, same. And how do you handle conflicts that might come up during a retreat with, I mean, not everybody has the same personality styles. I mean, how do you handle that? Have you had any issues come up in the past?
So one of the things, another one of my uh, core values in relation to retreats, let's put it that way, is I tell everyone opt in, opt out. You have the freedom to opt in and opt out of anything that we're doing. If you're uncomfortable or if you're just having a moment and you need to go back to your room and be by yourself, read a book, journal, what have you, I want you to do that. This is for you to get what you came here to get. In fact, if you just need to escape your family and you want to come and sleep for the weekend, fine. That's your choice, you know.
Yeah.
No one does that ever because they love the support and the women, you know.
Yeah.
But that's it. Is that they can opt out, and then we talk about it individually. We do some laser coaching sessions along the way, and so we have that opportunity to um, talk it through.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, though, Holly, the fun thing that I find is somehow the universe sends me the right people that need to be together all the time. I
Yes.
remember one retreat, everyone had issues with some sort of narcissist in their family or their circle. And they were, collaborating conversations all about that. And I'm like, who knew? It's
Yeah.
not something I particularly deal with, but they
Right.
were bonding around it. And I was just glad I had created the environment where they
Yeah.
could have those conversations.
Well, and find solutions to help each other. Like this has worked
Right?
for me and that has worked for you. And oh, I'm going to try that. I think that's brilliant. What is, just wrapping up here, what is one last thing that you feel like in your heart that you could speak to our retreat leaders that would maybe help close this out, help them along their way in their journey?
So I went to a lot of retreats and observed a lot of people before I started doing my own. And what I learned from one of my teachers, particularly Janet Bray Atwood, who you mentioned earlier, is to learn to go with the flow. Learn to flow with what's happening in the retreat, right? If someone is having a, a breakdown or a difficult
Mhm.
time, how do we rally around that person? Throw the
Yeah.
schedule out the window, right?
Yeah.
Throw this. So I also tell my participants, hey, know that I read the room, I check in with people, and I roll with the flow. Yes, I have a schedule, but it may adjust, it may move around a little bit, and be good with that, which is another skill we all need to learn,
It is.
right, in life, to roll with the flow. And so, and that I think that's an art, and I think it's really important.
Oh, I love that. That's a great tip. Well, okay. Thanks, LuAnn, for coming and joining us today and giving us all this. And we will have all your contact information in the show notes. So if you're driving or walking and can't grab those, know that you can come back and get them and you'll be able to get in contact with LuAnn and see how you can maybe work with her in the future and get more ideas here. But thanks for joining
Yeah.
us and we will see you next time.
Thanks so much, Holly.
You
Everyone have a
bet.
great day.
Bye for now. Thanks for joining us on this episode of All Things Retreat. We hope you're leaving with new ideas, fresh inspiration, and the motivation to take your retreats to the next level. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. It helps us grow and reach more retreat leaders like you. And if you have any questions, topics you'd like us to cover, or just want to say hello, send us an email at info@weretreatrnr.com. Follow us on social media to stay connected and catch all the latest updates. Until next time, remember, great retreats start with great intentions. Let's make them extraordinary, one step at a time. Thinking about hosting a retreat? Before you dive in, let's make sure you're really ready. Grab your free Are You Retreat Ready checklist and find out if you've got everything in place from your purpose and pricing to your audience and agenda. Don't guess, get clear. This quick checklist will show you exactly where you stand and what you need to make your retreat a success. Click the link below in the show notes to grab your gift, and take the first step toward hosting with confidence.